Okay, Impact Wrestling. Got a few things I'm going to say before we get started. One, I believe I found Jesse. Here he is. It looks like Jesse. He looks about the right height of Jesse. There he is, I believe. If it is, great to see him there. Because he did say he was going to be there when he was on Off the Script for Dynamite. When he was at Dynamite Off the Script, he did say he was going to be attending a couple of tapings that was in Chicago. So, great to see him. I'm hoping that he enjoyed himself. And I'm sure he did. There's no problem when you're at the arena and attendance there. Everything is fine. Audio will probably be okay. The lighting would be alright. The wrestling would be top notch with what you could see from your seat. No problem. But for people like us who are at home, I got a gripe. I got a problem. The first 3 matches, fine. Cameras perfectly fine. And I'm not even saying they did spectacular work, just regular. But when the 4th match happened between Speedball Mike Bailey and Kushida, that's when it fell completely apart. You know what that means. Whoever was control of production said, we need to have these cameras pulled in like this. We need to watch them. As Vince would say. And I'm going to say this afterward. I do have a gut report recorded. You've already seen it. I got another one recorded. And I got one more I'm going to work on probably after this. But, guys, the first 3 matches you'll like. Not because of what was in the ring, but because you can actually see it. At least if you can see it. If you liked it that way. I mean, I know what the Alicia Edward and Jody Threat, I'll get to that in a minute. You may not like the match yourself, but at least you can see it. But Speedball and Kushida, that was not good. The last match of the night was not that good. It wasn't because of the story they told, it was because you could not see it all. Because again, whoever's running production after a certain amount of time, it's like after the first hour, someone is no longer running production who does it in the very beginning, and they swap out, and whoever's running the other half causes this mess. I'm sorry. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a man. I don't care if it's a woman. I don't care if it's the most person I love on Impact Wrestling. Tell them to fucking stop. Because I'm tired of seeing this. I want to see what's in the ring. I'm not at the damn arena, and I don't need emotion or thrill of seeing it up close. I want to see it. Please tell someone from Impact to see at least this part of the video. I am telling them, please, as a faithful watcher of your product for so many years, I'm saying this honestly. Whoever's running the first half of your production when you tape is fine. They're telling the cameramen and the ones who's running the production equipment when they switch, they're doing it perfectly fine. But whoever takes over after that truly believes the best way Impact is to be seen at home is like this. And you don't catch all that's going on in the ring. How can someone from the X Division be seen if most of their moves are completely blocked off because you bring in the camera shot like this? You're supposed to be one of the best. You're the successor to the cruiserweights, as they would say, from WCW. Your product, when it comes to cruiserweights, is better than anyone. That's what you call the X Division. There is no limits. But the people at home are not getting the full treatment. They're not seeing it. Please stop. I'm not saying the person is 100% garbage if he's running production or she's running production. But you got to get it through their head to stop zooming in to give it a theatrical or a emotional thing. Zooming in and out is not the wisest thing to do. People at home want to see what's going on. They don't want to have to see someone's ass or head. That's what happened with Alicia Edward a couple of times, but at least you could see what's going on in the ring. I'm just saying, let's go on. Let's move on to the first match, which is a tournament match for the number 1 contendership for the tag titles. And that's ABC versus Rich and Sammy. To be honest, ABC, I love them. Ace and Bay, I love them. I do love them. I love them. Chris is a great wrestler. But at this point, they have been pushed enough that you can at least back off from them a little bit and let Rich and Sammy have a shot at those damn titles. Now, I don't know if they'll drop them. I'm not going to tell you yes. I'm not going to tell you no. But if they did give it to them, I'm just saying. Because I don't know what's going to happen in Emergence. If they did do it, I wouldn't have a problem with it because seeing these two together is really great. I still wish they could have gone against each other for the world title. Seeing a former champion in Rich, a former champion in Callahan, and they're going at it. And they still care about each other as family. I think that would have been a really cool story, but this is what we get. ABC is stopped because of the Good Hands. We still don't know why the Good Hands are pissed off at ABC. I don't know. Maybe it was, what was it? It was Skylar who came out. Could have been due to the fact that the Rascals could not be there because they were told by Santino, if you show up, you're out of the tournament, you'll be fined, and you'll be suspended until further notice. I think when it came to Skylar, he did that for them. But we'll know next week if I'm right about this. But this is the way it should be. Now, Gunther versus Dirty Dango with a Alpha Bravo bias. I love this. I don't know about anyone else. Seeing Johnny Bravo as Alpha Bravo, spending 1 week in Vietnam. I know true horror from Vietnam because I spent a week there in a hotel with no hot water for about 2 days. I am a real veteran. They didn't do that. I'm just saying. But seeing him there goes with Dirty Dango's personality. I can understand it. He's trying to protect him. He's trying to make sure none of the sycophants can go near him. And before the match happened, he says, I hate pro wrestling. Now, mind you, I still believe he should be the digital media champion. But at this point, at least we did pivot a bit. And instead of seeing him just lose, he is winning. The match was fine. I got to say this about Gunther. I do like Gunther. And I just feel like his character needs more development. And it's not because of his accent. I just believe he needs more character development. In other words, they need to write a little bit more for him. Not to take away anything from him being Indian, but they got to make him more, how can I say this? One of the things that can get over a lot when it comes to pro wrestling is unfortunate stereotypes. Now, he could be the typical American. He can also be like when it came to Jinder Mahal, the typical Indian, and blame America for a whole bunch of problems. I want to see him have a little bit of both more. I wish they do a little bit more about him having regular life. Now, mind you, if you've seen his Impact Diaries, he's devoted so much time to Impact and Can-Am wrestling school that I don't think he has a life. And I'm not being mean. If you're that passionate, you're going to focus every bit of your energy in doing what you do. And if he loves it, he goes there every day, and he goes home and he practices his promos, he practices everything. That is very commendable. But when it comes to Gunther, he needs to smell the roses sometimes. Because as one person once said to me when I was very young, because I was trying to learn how to do art. I almost had a chance to get into LaGuardia School of Arts. Even though my grades were bad. I'm dyslexic. I had bad grades, and back in the 70s and 80s, you would not usually get in. But they said I did have at least somewhat good of an eye in art. I was told by a teacher, unfortunately passed away many years ago. He said, basically what they said, always smell the roses. But he said it in a way that always see what is around you. Don't be so restrictive. Open your mind. And I think with Gunther in real life, if he's really working so hard to become a pro wrestler, he's got to make sure he has a life. Because if he does not, it will destroy him. And I don't want to see that for any wrestler. Because that does happen, guys. So, match was fine. He did well. But Bravo basically screwed it up for him, and he loses. And pretty much right afterward, you get the Dango say, "I won this match, and I still hate pro wrestling." At least until Jake something comes out, and he makes it very clear. Do you know how long it took me to get back to Impact Wrestling, and you don't want to be here? I had to bust my ass to get back here. So either like it or get the hell out of here, or I'll make you get out. So pretty much we got the 101 of what a heel will do when he is faced with a much more bigger opponent than himself as a face. He tries to go out of the ring. He has his handler try to mess with him. He tries to nail him. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And pretty much Dango gets decked and he's down for the count. This is what we got. Now, the next match, which would be the last match where the camera work worked. And I know there's going to be some people going to say, dude, this sucked. I did not like the match. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to be honest to you. You are right. The way it was structured and the outcome, it was interesting. But the thing is that this is what we got. We got Alicia Edwards against Jody Threat. Now, I felt that Alicia Edwards needed a backup. She didn't need Eddie to be there, but Eddie became a backup because of how he tripped up Jody Threat eventually. But when you see the match, I'm going to be honest here. I am not against Alicia. I'm not. The way she's been doing the heel work is actually better than what I normally would see her as a face. She's never been one of the best as a face. But as a heel, she's got something. As a handler or a manager, she's got something. She'll have at least a little bit of ability in the ring when she needs to get in the ring. But mainly she'll be managing. That's what I think she should do more often. To work with Eddie and be his manager. Interfere with the matches sometimes. Even do some wrestling moves to enhance it. That would also make her get over more as a heel herself. But they're not doing that with her. Either she doesn't want to or they're not booking her that way. So we got a straight match with a much larger, much more powerful Jody Threat. And it showed. And worse yet, because Alicia's a much, much smaller woman than Jody. And worse yet, I'm not saying Alicia cannot wrestle. She can. But she is an average wrestler. Sometimes it can go between average to sometimes a little below. It depends on the one she's working with. Because if it's someone who's really good in the ring, she doesn't have to worry so much about if she messes up. Because they can cover for her. But Jody, even though she knows how to wrestle, I don't think they got experience with each other. So at one point, you saw Alicia Edwards decide to do a backbreaker using her own back. She grabbed her and then tried to pop her back. And it looked incredibly bad due to the fact that Jody is much bigger than her. And she was not in the right position. That is Alicia Edwards. She grabs her, but she doesn't grab her and pull her this way. She pulled her this way. And she just slid off like she never even hurt her. And it just looked incredibly bad. Now, once Jody got tripped up with the candlestick, or Kenny, by Eddie, eventually Kaz came in, stopped Eddie, and Jody got the pin. But when Kaz was getting ready to wind up and whack her in the head, I don't have that shot, she gets popped in the head, and she's down for the count. And then Kaz is apologizing, saying, I didn't mean to hit her. He wanted to get Eddie. And everyone in the arena is screaming, she deserved it. Of course she deserved it because she's messing with Tracy Brooks. But there's a problem now. Because we thought they're going to try and build something up with Tracy Brooks and Alicia Edwards. Which they probably are still going to. But after this loss, and she looks so bad doing it, they're going to have a match that's going to make sense between Tracy and Alicia, where wrestling will not be the key here. It may have to be a street fight. Or maybe I'm not saying a Monsters Ball match. I don't think either one of them is really prepared for Monsters Ball. Not because they couldn't do it. It's because Tracy has not been wrestling for quite a while. And Alicia is not strong enough of a wrestler and character to make it mean something. They need to develop her more. And she needs to work a little bit more in her ring work to really be able to do something like that. But that's just me, guys, from below. Let's move on. Now, let's get this. I'm going to give it to you like this. When we saw, I know my friend is watching this. He's going to be saying, dude, Johnny was on. Yes, yes, I love my Johnny. I know you're happy because he was questioned by Gia. So what are you going to do now? You have a shot at a shot at the champ. What are your plans? He says, oh, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking how I'm going to be able to wheel and deal, daddy. And then Kenny King and Sheldon Jean. Was their segment good? Let me give it to you like this. The digital media champion, the DMC of the galaxy, is going to rock and be whenever you want to be. I'm bad at rap. I've never liked rap. But what he said, saying that the DMC is shown all over the world and shown through satellite, so it's being seen around the world. So the DMC is around the world, and I'm around the world. But then these signals from the satellite is being beamed into the galaxy. So the DMC is now part of the galaxy, and I am the DMC champion of the galaxy. And I'm going like, okay, are you going to try and work some type of angle with that? That would be cool. Let's see him change his clothes and start wearing like some galaxy space stuff. But then, and I know my friend's thinking about it, that he had to laugh. Because as you see from my face, Johnny Swinger has his hand in his chin. And he's stroking his chin and he's going like, what's the internet, daddy? You want to make a bet. I have this weird feeling that someone's going to tell him about the internet and they're going to show him AOL so he can understand the old style of the internet, and he's going to get... better yet, I'm sorry. What is going to happen here? Johnny Swinger is going to hear about the internet and all the crazy stuff on it. Then he's going to go, I need to get myself a computer, daddy, so I can get online. What is this AOL kind of craziness? And someone gives him a laptop. He goes online, opens that laptop to go, I have this weird feeling that is going to happen. I could be 100% wrong, and they're not going there. And I'm sure my friend who heard me just say this and laugh my ass off, he's laughing too. You're going to say it below. If it doesn't happen, if they don't have a segment where he learns about the internet and all the craziness, and he gets himself an old style laptop, he plugs it in, puts in an AOL disk, and I had gone through AOL. I actually had web TV at one point. I actually met a Chinese woman that way, from China, Shanghai. I did. But if they don't do that and make a small skit out of it, Impact Wrestling is wasting gold. I'm sorry. It will be funny to see something like that, where the only thing you have to do is get an old laptop. It doesn't have to be something great. You can get an AOL disc off of eBay or Amazon. Just make sure the laptop has a disk drive in it. Plug it. If anyone says, what is a disk drive? Look it up. Put it in. Make believe it's real. And make them go, ooh, and they got the music going. And that reminds me about Joe Henley. And when it comes to what do I say about him becoming a tag team with Yuri Uemura? The music, the questioning, why would I team up with you even though we've basically, and I know I'm skipping the beginning when Joe Henley was called in and they did the same thing, Believe, and Uemura came out as well. I know I'm skipping it. I'm not going to say anything. This is the most important thing. They're going to be a tag team. And this could help Yuri Uemura. Because I understand he can speak a little bit of English, but working with Joe Henley, maybe this might be very good for him for character development, which he needs. This is one of the problems Japanese wrestlers don't get over, because they just don't understand how to book them correctly. either team them up with someone who's Canadian or American or European and help them to try and build a character that's partially of that guy and with their own, if they're willing. If they're willing to work on their English and willing to work on their character, at least it will give them a in-between that they can grow from. I'm just saying. Let me see here. Subculture sounded good. They're getting ready for the end of the tournament. I'm cool with that. I like Subculture. I hope they stick around. Will they keep the titles? I don't know. They did show Subculture at APW. I think it's Attack Pro Wrestling. That was nice to see. They used to do that years ago in Impact Wrestling. It's good to see they're doing it. And I know about 1000 episode and we're going to have Team 3D there. I'm going to leave that alone because I might do a gut report on it. How important that is. But I'm going to leave that alone. Final match. We get the 6-man tag, which actually became a 2-on-3 handicap. Dorado Kid, Black Taurus. It was supposed to be, I don't know what happened with Samurai Del Sol. They tried to set it up where he got his ass kicked by Lio Rush, so I don't know. Maybe they're going to put Samurai Del Sol to work with Lio Rush, or something might have happened with Samurai Del Sol. They just couldn't get him, but they allowed him to do the recording. I don't know. But we had Myers, Moose, and Bully Ray. It was a good match. The one thing I liked the most was Bully Ray dealing with Black Taurus because they're two big-ass guys, and they were working together. And I like to see that. I like to see that Black Taurus is used. Dorado Kid, the thing that kills me is that before he almost lost his life because of a rupture of his intestines, I believe, they never really decided to give him the exhibition as far as I know. And I don't know if he ever won a tag championship with Angel Garza over in WWE. I can't remember what he used to call himself. But essentially, I really wanted to see Del Sol not really be the factor. I really wanted Dorado Kid to really mean something. And we got that in this match. In the end, the ref gets nailed. They're beating down on everybody. PCO comes out, scares Bully Ray to the point where he has to run out of the arena and grab a car. What was it? A van and run off. And the heels won. So Bully Ray did get a win. Myers and Moose get a win. But what does this mean? I don't know yet. Only thing I can say is that a good show with issues. Maybe that might be the title. A good show, but issues. You guys tell me below how you feel. Have a good day. Have a good night. And I'm going to see if I can do my recording of my... Actually, I am going to do recording right now of my gut report of Vince McMahon. Peace.